What does it mean to push the envelope? What is its connection to spaceflight? What does it mean to make the grade? Is the word grade used in the sense of marks, or does it have something to do with a slope? All this and more coming up, but first, do subscribe to The English Nut on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks. The phrase push the envelope is not about pushing an envelope containing a bribe or a resignation letter across a table. In fact, it has nothing to do with an envelope in the sense of the flat paper container we use to enclose a letter or document. I'll explain the meaning of envelope in the sense it is used in the phrase. But first, let's get into the meaning of the idiom and how it's used. To push the envelope means to go beyond normal or established limits, to be innovative, to do something viewed as risky, to try out new radical ideas, to pioneer. You could say, the clothes Mayur wears push the envelope of fashion, or the comedian pushed the envelope of good taste, or the musician's new album pushes the envelope of country music. While the phrase is used metaphorically today to describe pushing the boundaries, especially in the arts, its original use was in aeronautics, where the word envelope refers to a set of limits such as speed and altitude that it is not safe to go beyond. The term flight envelope was in use during World War II, and its first citation is from a 1944 issue of the Journal of the Royal Aeronautical Society. According to this article, the flight envelope covers all probable conditions of symmetrical maneuvering flight. The phrase pushing the envelope is first found much later in a 1978 article in Aviation Week and Space Technology. The aircraft's altitude envelope must be expanded to permit a ferry flight across the nation. NASA pilots were to push the envelope to 10,000 feet. We can credit Tom Wolfe for turning a piece of technical jargon into everyday language. He brought a version of the phrase pushing the outside of the envelope to the attention of the general public a year later with his award-winning non-fiction novel The Right Stuff. In a way they could not have associated with anyone else, at least not easily, because the boys could talk only about one thing: their flying. One of the phrases that kept running through the conversation was pushing the outside of the envelope. The novel was about the Mercury 7 and other test pilots of rocket-propelled aircraft. The Mercury 7 are the 7 astronauts chosen to fly spacecraft for Project Mercury, America's first human spaceflight program started in 1958. This means that the Mercury 7 were the first American astronauts. These pioneers truly pushed the envelope. The phrase is found in the exact form that we use it today in a 1981 Newsweek article. At 400,000 feet, the shuttle was dropping fast above the Pacific. Since it had no maneuvering power, the spaceplane had to land right the first time. But even after the shortened flight, Columbia had enough bravado left to push the envelope one more time. So that's the story behind pushing the envelope. Do note that the word envelope can also be pronounced as envelope. To make the grade means to prove satisfactory, to meet the required standard, to be considered worthy of merit, to succeed, to make the cut, to cut it, or to pass muster are other idiomatic ways of saying the same thing. Here are some sample sentences containing the phrase. Shushmita applied for the job but didn't make the grade. He wanted to be a dancer but didn't make the grade. If you fail to make the grade at this institute, you won't succeed in the corporate world. Rakesh's biryani didn't make the grade. She certainly made the grade as a corporate lawyer. You might assume that the grade in the idiom means the grade or marks a student gets on a test. But there is a theory that the grade in make the grade means gradient or slope. According to this theory, the phrase originated in the American railways. A train making it up a steep slope was said to make the grade literally. and this usage led to the later idiomatic use of the phrase. Here's a citation of the phrase from a 1917 book called Making the Grade by Charles Virgil Mosby. In this excerpt, the phrase is used to describe people who are unfit and therefore unable to climb the hills of life. A wave of pity sweeps over me every time I see a derelict human or machine. Could not make the grade is stamped all over such relics. 90% of men and women, normal in mind and healthy in body, can make the grade, can climb the hills if they are properly trained in childhood and are taught the great laws of life. I did not find a whole lot of information on the origin of this phrase. Nevertheless, I hope this video made the grade. I always try to push the envelope in terms of making language learning interesting. Do come up with sentences using push the envelope and make the grade. Write them in the comments section. I hope you've subscribed to The English Nut. I also hope you've activated notifications by clicking on the bell icon. I'm The English Nut. Bye for now.